Westport department's efforts to update its computer technology. Jason led the adoption of software apps to help members of the fire department better share information or monitor operations. Selecting the town's emergency management team. In this role, he coordinates Westport Island's responses to emergencies and consequences with the Lincoln County and State Emergency Management Agency. So, for example, utilities are down, utility lines are down, trees are down. This guy really coordinates everything to make sure we get the help we need, make sure that the town knows where there are issues. All of those are things to him. Serving as a member of the county emergency management radio team and the search and rescue team. And lastly, interfacing with the state and federal emergency management agencies, as well as the road commissioner, to help the town get reimbursed for the expenses incurred in responding to or repairing the effects of emergency. And the details required by these agencies is exhausting, so the fact that you've been willing to do this pretty complicated. Be it resolved by the select board of the town of Westport Island that Jason Case is hereby recognized as a 2023 Westport Island State of America Foundation tribute for his achievements and exemplary actions in improving the quality of life in our community. Standing on my tip here.
This is a surprise. Thank you very much. It definitely is.
All right. Thank you. Two, which we completed at the election of 2011. Current retreat and moderator, since I had said meeting, Carol Morris, moderator on June 11th, 2024, from the planning first. Our deputy moderator, to be our town meeting today. And Article 2. The polls will be open at the Westport Island Town Hall on order to monitor the meeting with following to choose by secret ballot, select board number 2 for a term of 3 years. The result for Kim Lynch with 175 votes, 14 write-ins and 22 blanks. The RSC number 12 board of directors representative for a term of 3 years. Posting all of that, I went to the papers, there were 61 write-ins and 150 blanks. Harvard rated with average of 49 and divided about 73. I got the position. Yeah. We considered on the RSC 12 school budget. Do you think in the regional school year 112 budget for the upcoming school year that the adopted regional school year budget meeting? 169 yes votes, 39 no votes, and 3 blacks.
Thank you.
From the small.
Are you loud enough? No. No. All right. Keep rattling on. Sorry, all this. But really, can slide the toes, it gyre and skin holding was already on the way back there. Yes. You will have noticed this is an uncommonly, unnaturally, unbelievably long warrant. Here by noon, my fear is that it goes a lot longer. Your moderator may be undercompensated for this. We don't have midweek heat today. Moving rain, there's still not bottoms in here, it will heat up. I hope the rhetoric doesn't heat it. Yeah. You have a number of ordinances, ordinance changes on the one. The things we need to know about ordinances in a town meeting is, and let's say, problem. And this appointment, they are unamendable from the floor. You can approve the change. You can approve it's in whole. You cannot change it, you cannot fix it. You can turn it down. Your vote will be yes or no. Point of view, that calls me to suggest to you that voicing complaints about various parts of it that, well, I would find it except for this for them. Everybody's going to have the peculiar thing he or she doesn't like. Your job today is to accept it as it's written, or to say, no, that's not try to work it up. That's where you may get to do it before sundown. So Article 3 of 59. And since it's so long, if at any point you could add a no entertainment motion for a brief recess, maybe not. They're not your needs, but we really want to get through this and come out the other end of the sheet. So, Article 3. The city of town will vote to appropriate from general fund fiscal year 2024 revenue sources to use for the 24-25 budget. While decreasing the amount required to be raised by property taxes, the further select board and treasurer to accept any additional revenues or costs that may be used to reduce the amount required to be raised by taxation. Again, in the interest of moving things along, on the left somebody request or use it. I don't read the list, I don't read the total list. $7,348, 86 and individual approval.
So moved.
I have a motion to do so. Second. Any second. Very good.
Is this article intended to fund Article 4? It's intended to defray the cost of what we have to raise and appropriate, it's intended to lower the tax burden. So we'd have to raise our property tax. Right, because Article 4 doesn't raise it, just authorize the board to extend
And or it's not as it seems. Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Those in favor, Mark 3 and red. And R. Okay. Article 3. Turn to these on personages to make function. The city of the town will authorize the select board to expend $240,898 on health insurance, payroll taxes for town employees and officials. So,
All right, I'd like to, propose a new
And are you proposed to make?
motion. Yes, motion to the article. I'd like to, suggest that we revise it to say to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $240,890 to be offset by $7,456.22 in revenue received during FY 24. And authorize the select board to expend that sum on compensation, health insurance, and payment taxes for the town employees and officials. This doesn't change the article other than adding the correct language, as you pointed out here. The raise funds to specify the funding source.
Second. Say it. What it works. You raised the question. You made it all. What's the point of order? Point of order. There's a consideration you mean our new and change of the matter. This is not. No, it's just a combination, ordinances, direct. Or in the case of, changes in the ordinances, change the ways that the town regulates. Business, land use, home building, mobile homes, bark dogs. You can have a variety of ordinances, and no doubt you do, but this is very important. And she has made a motion to do what Article 4 says, but to raise and appropriate the money, as you suggest. And I have a second. Any discussion on that? Yes.
I have a question, I'm about the council charter the, voted on last year.
You have a handout, that has that information on it. Hang on.
Salary sections in the back of your.
Yeah, salaries and stipends in the back of the package. I think we just settled on that money in we're done.
So 100,000 of our target in health insurance for 3 employees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like to amend the article. Reduce it by $100,000 that was supposed to be set aside, but authorized to spend the last year's town.
We have to reduce this sum by $100,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and second. For the purposes of discussion, I will ask you, the proponent of to offer her.
It sounds like you're interested in doing away with health insurance for the staff. And I would say that's a very unwise decision. These staff work hard. It took 6 months to replace the town clerk. And one of the town clerks that we want to hire, we don't take the job because of no benefits. Look around the other towns, every town is offering health benefits. We would be in town without any staff if we do not give them benefits.
Yes, ma'am.
There's why are we paying the full amount for insurance? Anybody who works someplace else, they have to come up with a percentage of the insurance cost. So you're going to pay these insurances. I can pay $9,000 for my health insurance out of my pocket. Now, why are we have this problem good? I will admit, my daughter, same thing in Wisconsin. She has money taken out of her paycheck every week to compensate the rest of the insurance. I want to know why we're not doing the same thing. You're just handing them $30,000. For what? We don't know.
Sure, if you want.
I will say that if you look around the other towns, they are paying a percentage. We're talking about municipal government, not businesses, and businesses. I've been running a lot different than municipalities. And if you look at any municipalities around here, you'll see that they are paying their staff pretty much their percent. In fact, some of the family was also 100%.
Well, actually, so out of that, total paying, municipal association for mental health, it's that our making a contribution to that student. So it is, it's all, overall, how much of that? I don't know the percentage, I don't know if that's where we would have done.
Out funds, $100,000 about there to be spent on those systems. So I think kind of information, so it's.
It was around 75,000 last year, but that was for, 9 months, 9 months. And we expect insurance to go up again.
So I'm just being involved in insurance, and you brought this up in the town report, that is for 3 people, but the very expensive term. And you brought insurance to organizations like schools, not-for-profits, as a town. Maybe explore something that's less costly in town, that instead of going directly to the NOA.
We actually had a professional come in and give us all sorts of options, and we found that MMA was the best option.
Okay, Scott.
There's every amount of wording last year was to set aside $100,000. There was no mention of authorizing it. But what we have done is an unauthorized expenditure. But the town has never voted. I submit that that would be illegal. I would suggest that if the sheriff's here, that they should arrest and collect the difference. Unless they want to refund that, so there is no town expenditures without authorization.
Any other discussion on this issue? Anybody have any more? Yes.
The big mistake we all made on this topic was when the initial amounts were granted. And we let Donna pump it up to 100. None of us were smart enough to say, let's do a paper ballot. That's how this went through. When the king got it, the beginning of the town, now it's that. But this ran away on us, and none of us were smart enough to say, wait a minute, what's going on? So I agree with Ken. I like that this is, it may be impossible. But do a bigger ballot, let's see where this goes. 33 grand per employee that are part-time with families, I think is a bit much, so that the town doesn't have a whole lot of. Insurance already.
Excuse me, I think
Your whole insurance already on the, where everything in order. Yeah, you sure?
We don't get insurance, this is.
You have no.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, right, there. Start kind of those people. Please. I had one line, you should be. We're not sort. Please.
Over here on the side. Go ahead.
Hi, Lori Arnell, from West Old Road. Not having travel yet, where you are. Really appreciate them. If you're all, you get health insurance, with affordable, on your own, they're on a free card. Right from select board said, it's very difficult to find people to work. We see it everywhere. And I always question the race to the bottom, they call it. Where I don't have a vehicle, why should you? We want our towns to hold. We have jobs. This is good work and I do grow. And if you come to me, publishing, opportunity, or if you spend it and find you really expensive. When you carve out over the whole island, the renewal. And I told, don't like the clock, why should you? And I feel like they're probably are. And I understand it, but I don't think it's inappropriate or community days, lot of the think about the people that work for our funds in the town. That's all I would like.
But you know, and we're have to be more. That's a different thing. No, they work a lot more than I do, but still I'm working 24 to 25 hours a week and getting paid for everything. So. It can count that extra 5 hours is actually going towards my health insurance, so you're really getting paid for it, which I don't have to count to you for nothing. I, I see both sides of this story. I think we all need health insurance. I think we have a fantastic office staff. I can honestly say I understand the work we do. It's a very difficult job. But I also see from sitting on this side of the road picture, whenever I worked in a job where I had to get health insurance, I had to work full time. And I think part of the picture that I'm sitting here struggling with, and I really do believe these ladies deserve the salary that they're getting. I mean, when I was in this position, I got a lot less for no benefits. But the problem is the town office is not open to all of us here. It's only open for six. It's only open, what is it, 12 hours a week, maybe a little 18 hours, 16 hours a week. So we ask to town services. A lot of towns are open a lot more hours or many more days so that we actually have access to come in and actually get services at town office. So we're looking here saying we're paying $100,000 for part-time employees and their families. And we do not have access to be able to come in to the town office. So we're paying for part-time employees plus the increase in salary. So when I had a job, part of my salary was benefits. It was increased, so I'm seeing an increase plus benefits. I am not denying health insurance. I am not denying benefits, but I always had to work 30 plus more hours to get benefits. So I think it's a conflict. Will you consider opening the office more hours, more days a week, so that the public,
We did open it more hours after we got health insurance.
4 more hours, but that's only 3 days.
Okay, there
Pretty new here. I can say that initially I was a little concerned about the number of hours the office was open. However, I will say that all of the staff have been very responsive outside of regular office hours. And they have assisted me with various things that I needed in order to get set up during town. So I do feel like their willingness to go above and beyond could be recognized. I really, pretty helpful and welcoming to me. I do think that health insurance is very important for everyone. We all know it's not cheap. It's incredibly expensive. It only gets more and more expensive. We all know about inflation. It works for health insurance. I do wonder if it might be possible for the board to share more information about the study that was done that identified all the alternatives. It might be nice to have that information. Maybe I missed it.
That's a fair question. You got an answer?
We researched towns last year and then we had somebody come in and offered us different pricing, different packages. Most of it was for the business world, not for municipalities, which is why we're on the phone with municipalities. But if you look at any of the towns within here, pretty much everybody on still wound up having to give health insurance to their staff. And I have just a couple examples here. Last year, it started at 100% paid employee health insurance. He run their advertising right now for part-time deputy treasurer and town clerk with 100% paid employee health insurance. And by the way, the town's having a hard time getting staff. So that's something else for you to consider. If you didn't have that staff, you need to think about who is going to do the work. Alden has a part-time town clerk and tax collector, and that person is paid over $60,000. For not getting the benefits, we pay our staff somewhere between $19 to $22. It's not like, you know, you can go work at Walmart and make $19 or $20. We're not paying them a huge amount. We did ask what they prefer, whether they prefer a raise or health insurance, just like all of you in here. Health insurance is critical. And that's why we proposed that last year.
Yes, for the information though.
State their names and where they are on the island when they comment.
Question has been asked, people to state their names and where they live. They certainly may, they can. It's not something I'm going to enforce, partly because can make them. And in that, and sometimes it needs to cost them in pitch. The biggest about it. One guy speaks to every other going before he speaks, he tells you who he is, or. But yes, if anybody wants to honor that, there are people here who don't know some of the time. So I don't.
Stand. Not right now, so you can hear on it.
And the gentleman speaks without authorization, that's why I do that. Invite people to stand and state their name and address. And I have even more sympathy for that than, I don't care what the hell you call yourself, but it would be nice if you stand and if you're up front, face the audience. They make me wear this contrivance so you can hear me. You've spoken twice. Who else on the issue? Right back here. Yes.
This photo on the American country, when we carry them, it's a company or fire or itself. Yeah.
Small John Price.
The question was, we made a decision on getting insurance from Maine Municipal. They made a decision based on price or features. Price, mostly. Who hasn't spoken? You haven't.
John Henderson Shaw. You all were here last year, remember we debated this for a long time. We spoke then, parroting what this gentleman said. I've been to the town and it went in PM in town. Nice. Still working at her limit. And I've seen Ashley and I've seen April. These folks work tirelessly for you. Health insurance is the least you can do. To keep them, to motivate them, and to show them one. I would do that we close the discussion and take a vote. Thank you.
No idea who this guy is, although he told me. But he is a friend of your moderator. I am. Closed debates and I heard a second. All in favor of closing debate. Done discussing. Now, anybody know where we are? To Article 4. To reduce the amount in the article by $100,000. Am I right? Sorry, right? Okay, on the motion to reduce Article 4 by $100,000, if you're in favor, show me your yellow card.
We didn't hear you.
If you are in favor of reducing Article 4 by $100,000, put your hand up. You see 9, 10, you see 10. If you're opposed to Article 4 being reduced by $100,000, if you want to keep it at 286, whatever her motion was, show me your cards. If you want to kill the amendment's dead. Article 4, still on the table. To raise and appropriate $240,898 for compensation, health insurance, and payroll tax for town employees and officials. Is there more discussion on Article 4 without amendment? Yeah,
Move call question. Call the question.
again, the gentleman wishes to end debate on Article 4. Is there a second? Those in favor of ending debate? Opposed? Okay, on Article 4, if you're in favor of it, as Donna made the motion without amendment. If you're in favor, show me your card. If you're opposed, by a substantial majority, Article 4 has the final. People, this did not vote well for our afternoon. Thank you. Search me more than it does you, because they've already told me what they plan to pay me. Health insurance. Operating here, if some of my systems give out, who have themselves in land. See what some of the town we don't raise and appropriate for a main certified assessment, update assessment factors based on current values. And handle assessments on new construction, land splits, transfers, state valuation returns, and LD1. And for the consultation with taxpayers, preparation, and court time as required. Select board recommend you raise from taxation $30,000 for a certified assessor to update your valuations. A motion. Moved and seconded as read. Discussion. Background.
Last year we paid him around $10,000. We already did in the spring, or a new, assessor is agent. Same exact position that we had already doing. We only got one kid. You know, it was actually a lot more that, he actually had asked for something like, for a year would have been around 48 months. We were able to talk him down. Our present assessor is Evan Gudkowski, and he's running for county commission. So at this point in time, we'd like to use him, but we can only use him until the end of December, when, he'll become a county commissioner, since he's running on the class. I can take on him. Mr. Shed, maybe there already looks like we're gonna have to ask for, cabinet admit for another assessor. I'm not sure. We did put out with it. That was, we're getting on that. And there was only one. Yeah. So there's been a lot more than we paid things.
Seeing no hands. Okay.
And now it's had to be packed, but I'm really gave, but 23 of the months. Such really much. So I was very much. So I was all about it. So the education is.
Would you stay up front and restate your point?
United for having the $10. So, so there's $3,000 in training directors for the town. Something that we use for community to the program. Like, the military, $1 million, three stuff to be kind of happen.
I believe
We're gonna have a lot less in a year,
I believe she's suggesting you people get yourselves educated. Okay,
you know, continue to be telephone. Where I just want to be, you know, ridicule,
knowledge is good. Make your point. You next, please.
And I did that, but that's another story. I'm completely not getting the text again. That shop actually is not here. It's actually here for someone becoming a certified instructor, and they do have separate classes they were selecting. They do say in that class that it is not for board members. So I just want to address that. It is a very kind of 5-day class. But they do get held every year during the main certified assessors class. I'm not working to do that great class and I'm responsible to come in for it. I highly recommend that. A lot of math in it and everything. So you want, please do like that when they get it. You've been there before too. But there's a big demand for census. I will say that the program conference, and you can see that there's a whole other set of classes up there for select board members. And the classes, I will say, great for select members. I think I commuted with Jeff up there.
Yeah, I took it 2 years ago. So, and it's good stuff, believe me. But we're asking for an awful lot of assessors agent. And we really need good assessing on the file.
All right,
And should generate bigger. Well, when you put out a bid. The response is how much you asked for. If you only ask for a day a year, I doubt it's coming to 30,000 lots. It's wrong. So, in the past, we've got maybe $10. But I'm asking for equal level of assistance. So when I work at it a little bit and ask for less. I would propose the amendment to reduce the 30,000 to $10,000.
the first amendment reduces the amount in Article 5 by from 30,000 to 10,000 for a certified assessor. Don't hear a second.
Yeah.
I was afraid I'd hear a second. Moved and seconded, reduce the amount to $10,000. Brief discussion, please, on the amendment. We've heard the rationale. Go ahead.
In regards to the society, thing, being new to the board this year, you know, relatively new going down the board. We took this pretty seriously. We're new. George has had so many years of experience doing this, and we're all new. So I did my own sort of calling around to similar towns to see how they handle things. And the mistake we made, or probably shouldn't say this, I feel it was a mistake back in February, is that we asked for a single assessor. Because the way the rules are written, you know, if you're the assessing board, you have an assessor agent, you're the in charge person, and the agent, I'm probably not explaining this right, and the agent is basically here to put them to the help of you. So when I'm around the other towns, everybody has an assessor's agent who has a board of assessors, and their assessing agent goes out and does everything. It's just that and it works to the assessing board and does the bidding of the assessing board. So most towns do not go out and do this themselves.
Discussion on the amendment.
I think it's important to be as, to make sure there are no, just to be as impartial as possible. Not give any sense, show favoritism or anything else, and we would not want that. Even when the pressure that I get, which is why we feel it's important to have an outstanding. We will support that assessor, we will go with them, because George, we do the same thing now. But it should be an assessor who is qualified, who's certified, who knows what he's doing, and you can't find them, you know, your scholar schemes.
$10,000. Reduce the amount to 10,000, raise your hand. Keep it at 35. Still 7,000. Mark, full time, involved. And you can,
For the question. You just said that we thought 48,000 for the first, right? So we only get 30,000.
What I said, Chris, was that when he gave us the bid, his bid was for 48,000 a year, and he was available for 6 months. So basically, we got to 24,000. We were able to bring him down to 15,000, but he originally wanted 24,000 for half a year. So we were able to work with him and get him down to 15,000.
So why are we doing 15,000 instead of 30?
15,000 for 6 months,
Okay.
so 30,000 per year.
You don't know what's gonna happen in the next 6 months of the year. You can't determine who we're gonna get and how much it's gonna cost. So we have to put a buffer in there to protect ourselves from January to July, the next.
Why we are, so we're ahead of.
And don't follow.
If you're only getting for 6 months, who are we gonna have in place?
Well, we're gonna put out another bid. We're going to, at the end of the summer. This time of year is not the time of year to do it, because they're all incredibly busy. So we're going to, at the end of the summer, early fall, definitely put out an RFP for another, sort of, existing.
That seems a little foolish if you know that it's gonna be an issue in 6 months. Why would start now?
We're actually, so there are people now in like March, we do in May. What we got back in May was one. So that was the thing to be for the next year. Because the proposal, knowing it's all going to be available in 6 months. So that does mean now we have to regroup and plan and the report will be like all this fall. We've also found this the worst thing of the year. The active part is simply keep out and work. It's spring. So that was the biggest thing, was to try to do that this year.
So why don't we look now?
I mean, well, they're still busy. We will in the fall,
But
when that's the true of learn. We got to take this with the market. Oh, sorry.
Okay? Do something for the walking dogs. And back. Like we can. Kind of a plug in the bank. Maybe we're running out of food. We are 229.5. We're going to do the third piece. Certified assessor. Show me your cards. And if you're not. And with those plans. Sometimes, two people in this town, a long and difficult history of assessing municipal real estate. So, and he's one of them. Get out of here. You see what's on the town involved with race program, written members, comprehensive blanket insurance package provided with the Maybe just pull us out screen. 260 approximately 130 volunteer committee members and event volunteers. A motion,
So we're.
and a second.
Actually,
It's for insurance. $2 per, we need to stop it. I don't think we do. Yeah. We have achieved. Articles. Sell it. To see what some of the town of Vulcan rates appropriate to the boards and committees pay operating expenses, including publication of true letters and flyers, and reimburse members for their out-of-pocket expenses. Which includes the Board of Appeals, Planning Board, Cemetery Committee, Conservation Commission, and the Town Hall Committee for total of $1,100. Board of Representatives, $11,100 rated by tax commission. Do we have all? Move seconded. As read, $11,100. Discussion. Vote, those in favor. And opposed. And Article 7 passes. 8. To see if the town will authorize the town hall committee to transfer funds not to exceed $15,000 from the town hall capital reserve fund for repairing front town hall. Repairing and replacing the right side of the trim, painting, and replacing the door. Select the town hall committee recommend you transfer funds not to exceed $15,000 for this purpose. Move.
I have a question.
Oh, and is there a second? And you're at the part.
Yeah, last year, didn't we appropriate 7,500 to do just this?
Wait, so. Sorry, the appropriation. Actually, in much of the local appropriations over region. In terms of the front of the building, what's being proposed, that was not what was asked for last year. And so this is. The later on down, the ramp, that is something that was at the last year. We did not.
So what happened to that money?
It goes into unappropriated service. So it falls back into our town funds available to us.
Yeah.
It's mentioned the ADA ramp out of this month funds, but that's in the next article.
Why not? I'm saying that. I'm saying, oh, it's actually here, we did not ask for last year.
The total is 25,000 for the town hall.
40,000.
45. Anybody else? 15,000. Yeah. On Paris Project Town Hall. Anybody else?
How did you come up with that number?
Looking for people, so. They want on the manifesto. It's a wild card in part because the chart takes off and we have a lot of wood on the building. You can kind of see the difficulty we're having. We've been having trouble with the paint. Really long. We actually painted quite a airports. So come with that. It's already the clouds is underlying wood. So it came down. Yeah, and there are certain make like the street of this.
Okay. No, so we got. And Article 9. See what's on the town appropriation program, the replacement of the current. Right, the keeping edge of climate grant. Recommended by the select board to raise $10,000.
I have a question. Hey, can I speak to this, Chris? Before we get.
First, I'm here.
Chris, how is this gonna affect the front of the building? So, for a moment, we won't see this. And I think I'm gonna answer a lot of the questions that sounds. This is an issue I feel pretty strongly about. I think it's. This building is kind of the heart and soul of our town. We've been using it for 300 years, for town meetings, for community events. And. You know, the ADA was passed in 1990. We are long overdue to bring this building up to the standards and the values that we have here in society. It should be accessible to everybody, and it's not. We do have a ramp, but the ramp is too steep. It has a hole in the middle. It has to be replaced, and if we're gonna spend the money to replace it, we really have an obligation, a moral obligation, to do it in line with the Americans with Disabilities Act. But I'm just gonna speak to the next article while I'm at it, because it's related, which is about an ADA bathroom. Also an important piece of accessibility for this building, which we use not just for voting, but for this town. And recently, I was on the Facebook group, and there were people saying they're not coming to this town meeting because there's no ADA council, and they don't know how long it's gonna last, and they're not sure if they can be here for the whole meeting without hearing about it. So we're literally disenfranchising people from housing by not having these basic requirements that have been in place since 1990. So if the moral argument doesn't move you, we are leaving ourselves open to enormous liability. But on my part, I think it was the right thing to do. We, you know, it's 30 years to get it done. I know there's a lot in this warrant, and there was uneasiness about putting this money on here, but I think it's really, really important. And I do recognize this is a good historic building. We don't want to destroy the historic values. There are ways to do ADA ramps aesthetically. Warren has a nice wooden ramp based on their historic building. You can get green ramps that match the trim. There are ways to do it that are not going to ruin the front of the building. And as far as the bathroom goes, there's already structure in place, and we can simply kick up the stairs, and people could enter on the ground floor, and have a nice big bathroom right here, which could also have a changing table. So I know when I had a child, I often did not come to things because there's literally no place in this room to change that. So I think these things are important. And I did talk to some historic experts about it. I talked to the state historic preservation officer. I talked to a couple of firms that specialize in this. The takeaway is we are not in any way exempted of the historic building. Unless we want to feel the building up and treat it like a part of it. We want to keep using it. As part of our civic life. This is something that I
Depends on the rain or. I'm in favor of wood trees. I know every something does trees. Don't know where the money tree landed on this thing. I would suggest that this is a historic building. I changing it outside of the building. I know there's an issue with consider. So what we have, one of the buildings should probably sell. And oh, by the way, in the spirit of a historic building, we used to have volunteers all over. That we could, the sponsor includes the, well, we need to get together, here, that here. If they provide a volunteer to assist, whatever person wanting to get in here. Crutches, a wheelchair, right, whatever it is. You can have an assistant. Providing for each of the people that wanted access to here. So I would propose an amendment, reduce $10,000 to zero.
Our the I believe ADA compliance. Prohibits requiring assistance. It has to be available to the person who has disabilities on their own. Yeah, not in a historic building.
just one quick note, I got a little wrapped up and forgot to say.
later on in the warrant, we are gonna request permission to go after grants. So we're hoping to not have to use these full sums. We're hoping there's probably grants out there, I imagine, for this kind of accessibility. So we not have to.
I have proposed amendment. Amendment will be accomplished by voting down the article. And I'm not denying you the right to make an amendment. I am saying that I'm. Meeting, I'm going to reject the amendment because. All you have to do to reduce this amount to zero is vote down the motion. You may speak briefly to what I just said.
I would just like to make a comment. Maybe the idea of ADA compliant grant is a good idea. But I don't not in favor of town expenditure. If they ask the volunteers to come build it. Or apply for a grant. I just hate to see the towns put this much money into something that in the old days. They had somebody help, somebody with questions to get in the door.
I would accept an amendment to amend this to require, not like it, I'll accept it, to require the town to seek volunteers or grant money to accomplish this.
Yeah,
Does that do it? You okay with that?
I'm okay with zero.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Do I have a second? And I'm going to state what I think is your amendment. Do I have a second? To bill to approve an ADA compliant ramp built by volunteer labor and or grant money. Fair enough? Do I have a second? On amendment only, discussion. Not spend municipal funds, but seek volunteers. Or get grant money. You had a hand. Jacob.
The ADA's been lost since 1990. It is a genuine building, not have ADA land. There's no sense that it doesn't, it have been done 30 years. It's time to do it. And this amendment to do it with volunteers, it's ADA land. I'm you don't want it built by volunteers, it needs to be professionally done, be done right, and pick it up, the aesthetics of the building. And I hope that all of this is amended.
There's a hand over here, but. I to the fact. Up front, there's four dogs with only 3 legs. People had to hop up the ramp and actually fall into that hole with her one good front leg. The hand over here, yes, ma'am.
Give their name. Started on Article 8, if having go to 16,000 for the front of the building, where ADA ran it or 10.
But we did 8.
We did hear.
Yep.
It was.
Right, yes, sir.
Joe, that is what the main role with volunteer requirement. On April's, recommendation that. We can have a temporary solution for facilities. I read you know, applying. For bodies, you have here. For these, so that we can be mobile because. Do that, also, the land, all those, actually, I also my house for me. One. So there's volunteers here that we try to do it, find grant money. To allow us for funding of that. But there are solutions to this, we can find grant money and convert and the spaces, you make this building quiet, no matter of getting this better. There's a lot of people that are here professionally in our meetings. And we offer up the help. I mean, we are one. If, say, for instance, of these other matters that we talking about, we're always here to color. At whatever time, whenever.
I do a lot of work with the main council on aging. What you don't understand, because most of all of you, we're gonna be handicapped in the back, I need to stand seven. That's some time, because we're early. You know, I'm seven, gonna be a rich. You have to recognize our fully it's great that this city and this town, there's so much by volunteer for so long. But we have to recognize that there is an aging majority. And our aging majority is, and if they're women who live here, especially when they live on, sorry, but you should not. We have done. In this town right now, people get offended by this. And you're the big that out. And cash volunteer, it's great for town volunteer, volunteer for a lot of other great things, but this needs to be handled very seriously and the disability issue that we as a town have to take on. I see all of it, I'm like, yeah, oh, thank you.
This poor woman right here is scheduled for head replacement September 9th. She owns 3 legs off.
I think we have to, I would like to, one, amend that we could revert back to, and the amend is to include the $10,000.
Why, amending?
Want to amend the amendment to
Right.
10,000.
I'm not gonna accept it, because all you have to do is vote down the amendment.
Okay, well, there's a couple of issues here. This is our polling place. So by law, we have to have an ADA compliant location for polling. So that is required by the state. Second of all, as Robert stated, yes, we are an aging community, but more importantly, this is the lifeblood of our community, and we also have to think about a location. If there is a disaster, we need a location to create a warming shelter, a cooling shelter, and create a building. And we need to look at that in the future, and that is something I will be bringing up later on with the select. But we need a community center, community buildings that meets the needs of all of us. And whether it's done by volunteer or not volunteer, we need it professionally done in a professional building that meets the needs of everybody. Should there be a disaster or some other situation that every member of our community can actually access, whether it's done, however it's done, whether it's done by a grant or not grant, we need the funds in the back of our pockets, whether they're spent or not spent. If they're not, if that $10,000 is not spent, it reverts back into capital funds, but we need them in our pocket to make sure this building is what is built, I'm sorry, using my words, but is safe for all of us.
John Murphy, Penny Road, I'd like to have a discussion with you.
I'll consider forming a club called Friends of the Moderator. Roll good second. Those in favor?
Oh, wait. Are we voting on,
The amendment
we're voting on an amendment to
Yeah.
not. You
on the amendment. Which states that. Select. Instructed to get volunteers or grant money to accomplish this and not spend town money. Effectively, reducing the line is zero.
Well, if you get volunteers, we still need material.
Amendment, I didn't write it. Think we're voting, I don't think it's got to the, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah, see, every donor takes the cost. The amendment requires volunteers or grant money only. Those in favor? Vote. Been a long time getting it. Okay. Amendment is there. Praise. Powers. Town hall ramp with an ADA compliant ramp. Second. We already did. Well, was there, do we need more discussion? We don't. Those in favor of Article 9, actually existed and still does. Those opposed. And after all that, Article 9 is approved. Article 10. To see what's on the town will vote to raise the appropriately for an ADA compliant town hall bathroom. Recommend $1,000 be raised. Your question.
For you, then, you may certify that designer and not designer.
Our question is a war of do I have a second on a proposed amendment to raise 20,000 to 50,000? Do I have a second? We raise some. You can proposed amendment because the actual amount is not included in the original article. It is simply a recommendation. You can raise it to any amount you think suitable, and the amount suggested was $50,000. We will now discuss, I hope ever so briefly, the amendment. Yes.
We'll close it at all plus.
Wow. Would you stay that motion to hear one word from the board? All right. Is there a second to close debate before we've had debate? There is. Okay. Who seconded the debate on the proposed amendment to raise the sum of $50,000? Those in favor of closing debate? Only on the amendment. It's a lot, right? It's those. Okay, we're talking. You will vote. Do you wish to raise the amount 20,000 to 50,000 for ADA compliant bathrooms? Those in favor, raising it to 50,000. 6 or 8, 9 or 10. Those opposed. Another 10. On Article 10 as written, $20,000 for ADA compliant bathrooms. Discussion, yes.
Jason Gates, if you don't want to.
You've got the floor on Jason Gates, North End Road. In this bathroom, do we envision it including a shower?
You're hearing better, there's some chatter in the room. It's funny, this is the guy that makes me wear the microphone.
All right, just for warming, cooling, shelter, purposes, is this bathroom gonna include a shower?
Nothing here.
No.
I don't think that's what's in.
Like it's good.
Yeah.
And we're getting some when that is $1,000 in issues.
Yes, yes, we can. So, earlier in this fiscal year, I started doing some investigating through efficiency. I was told what here is kind of on flat rights and you need to look at alternate, options for being planned for the building. And, so I started that process through efficiency name, and I connected with their partner businesses, a few of them. And I had a gentleman come here that, mechanical, I remember the, out of that, and, very preliminarily, be a full bathroom of 20,000, that's most likely just for the plumbing. Okay, most likely just for the plumbing. So what that is saying is probably true. But with that said, you're not opposed to getting volunteer help by any stretch of the imagination. This is the beginning process of investigating this. So $20,000 can at least get us started, and going further into the warrant, we'll see where we're going to do tons of grants out that are available for things like this. So we're exploring that as well. Why are we not using local?
Stone authority here. Yeah, right there in the hang.
Really have all of these, but I think they raised that to 500 last year and went back to services. Is there any way they can raise this 20K? They'll cover it there this year, go to next year, and raise another 20, and be close to that. I think you should actually just talk to it. That's something that nothing or that happen. It's involved on the show.
Can you carry over to 25?
Well, just if it's a financial practice, it's not carrying things over now unless we make it, just trying to do so. When we go through the budgeting process, and it's trying to, that is one thing we make, is about the funds, what we want to do. The expenditure, we actually did that, you'll see with the right landing house. Where we had approved $10,000 for the roof last year, we didn't spend it, it's back in for the warrant.
Yeah, Debbie asked why, we're not doing local, and if you go through efficiency name, they, partners that partner with efficiency name help you, get grant money to do the work. So they have a list online, and you go through their list of people, and you're gonna contact you. Yeah.
Can you tell Western Road, if you guys are both for the 20, if it's not enough, I'll turn it into a call down.
Paul, when they call up. Lady.
So what you're saying is basically whether we want to spend money to have an 8-day bath. It's money, I agree, yeah. Saying, and I suppose this is just. Again, this is one of those lines you're committing. We're going to be able to do, gotta get pumped up, because the weather be ground together. The heights of land, so get us, just a little better started, and, Mrs. Gentleman said, if we don't send it, or if we don't send it all, we move it forward to continue to use it, and we may have to revisit it. I know it's some meeting, a special meeting, I don't know what's, this is gonna get us started at the beginning of that process. You probably, it doesn't really be much, but I think it's probably another 31.
Well, I'm trying to use these things, so, yeah, let's suppose it's one, we're gonna do it. Let it go, and we'll set it sounds of money. Doesn't say that. It's enough, we get started, we're trying to be conservative, so we're hoping we'll have the rest of the costs recovered by grants, or in this case, by donations. So, but we don't really want to go back to square one with another rest, we want to get started. And then we'll see what it costs, and we'll make a judgment. The worst case, if we can't fund it any other way, you have to go back to. So, that's the law. And help plug the date. Second, all those in
Ken, all in favor? Opposed? Yeah, done, Governor. You will follow. Fire town hall battery. Yeah. No. It had. Here, town will authorize the Park Planning Committee and Horticulture Committee to first costs not to exceed $2,000 from the planting fund for operational expenses. Which is right. Ready? The. Yeah, select board.
So moved.
Ready. See if the town will authorize the right landing committee to transfer funds not to exceed $10,000 from the municipal landing fund for replacement of the roof right now. Is it not? Probably you not install it, if you would like. I hope you like to keep it. See if the town will authorize the right landing committee to transfer funds not to exceed $12,000 from the municipal landing fund for the renewal of dangerous wind and trees at municipal landings. Select board recommends approval.
So moved.
And I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Okay. Those against?
Like.
Ready? Very well. What is the first? You see the town will raise the program $5,870 for the 8 of 10 annual payments for the Squam Creek Reserve loan. Similar to that, how to select.
So moved.
Move the second. But you stay here, because I remember that you talked about Squam. Okay, move the second, discussion. Okay. See, so. See what's on the down the local rates to appropriate for town office operations and town office building maintenance. And there's information available. If anybody wants to go see it out, the select board recommends $69,000 for town office operations and town office building maintenance. So, discussion. Yeah, I saw you first. Just a quick question, you owns that, was that about?
Yeah, it's probably.
Yeah. Spectrum is zeroed out for this year. Is there a reason for that?
It's down included with under the building expenses. We have to switch our phone provider, so it's bundled with the internet and phone.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
not getting rid of it.
Everybody says so. 11:15, 69. $60. See, now, or grant, $200, contracted services. An annual on-call stipend, tax costs and response costs and commissions with a special service division, Wayne County Sheriff's Department for Ambulance Services. God life, means a lot of times. Sweet. Moving second. Staying is ready. Favor. It's not good. No. One may, one good. 17. Stanford Down Global Race to appropriate $3,700 for the CAI digital tax maps to fund the annual contracted developing service and the annual update of digital tax. Again, recommended by the only.
Second.
Discussion. Again, 17 passed. 18. Stanford Down Global CAI staff site and the annual document office fee of $700 for a total $1,650. Again, Rick. Local seconded. Seeing no hands, raising of your favor. And raising your hand. And 18 in the back. State town of local rate incorporated $2,000 for capital equipment purchases account, this equipment.
Seconds.
$2,000, capital equipment, in favor? Oh. One. The Stanford Down local rate appropriation $2,000 for ARPA preservation of original town residents. Seconded, $3,000 preservation record. That one. Okay. What is? I don't think it was very important. I'm pretty.
Jay is here to show you an example. Okay. Looks like it's work for you then.
We're required by state law to maintain certain records permanently. And some of the records that we have, because they're really old, are in this kind of shape. So this is actually the book that I'm requesting to have preserved for the coming year. Once it's preserved, what they do is they clean the pages, they deacidify them, they put them in a polyester see-through page so that now they can be handled. They're rebound, they can be handled by anybody for research, and now they're ready for perpetuity. At the same time that they do all this, they also scan them. So all these records now are being uploaded to the main digital repository, which is part of the Maine State Library. So everything that has been preserved to this point, people can research directly on the link on the website, and there's an absolute report on there. In the town report this year, we did report on archival records. So we're asking to do one like that. The other thing that we're looking to start is every year, everybody knows you get your tax records. What all this is a part of is creating the budget for the year. And then what happens is this young lady will be dedicated for the next couple of months with dividing things down according to ratios, so the taxes get divided and they will be, the tax bills will come out. Well, the commitment book or the valuation book, in the old days, they called them valuation books, we call it the commitment book. Those are supposed to be bound, and we have not been doing that. So we're looking to start doing that and also digitizing them. We will do that in-house. We're not paying. These are done by an outside contractor. The commitment and evaluation books will be done in-house, so they will be copied, they be digitized, and by university, because they do cheapest binders. So instead of costing like $2,000, they cost $70 to buy. So we're looking to do those books as well and get that started. These are up here for anybody to look at the end of the meeting, and if you have any questions, you're happy to answer them.
What's the leading time we need the hard copy?
Those digitized records are still not considered as private. And we have specific requirements under the law. Paper is a hard copy, in the same way that people contest ballots, they're digitized. They want paper, so they know exactly what happened on that ballot. The same thing, archival copies, are paper. We don't recognize because it continues, the technology continues to evolve and change. We don't know if tomorrow they're gonna be able to read, it's like we started with those little discs that we can no longer read. So again, paper is archival, and digitization is not. Yes, there are questions, we have one book, yeah, what? Yes. Which one, the ones that we've already been bound, or? Well, different, the one that we're reading about, that's all pretty, yeah. You know, I don't have an answer, we'll figure out now, but I can tell you that we'll probably stop doing this kind of concert or preservation once we get to records that are typewritten. Because typewritten records, by the time we start typing the records, they were in already, the loose leaf binder, they weren't a perfect bind like this. So because of that, we can do things more in-house and you can do it more reasonably because separate materials exist so that you can find it with the pages and could do it that way. But for the handwritten, old, and then part of it is because the ink is not permanent in many cases, or the ink is some of it, as you see, if you look through this book, depending on the ink they use, some pages are perfect. And then you'll get to other pages, oh, this one looks pretty good, where you can barely read it, because it has the type of inks that they use. Well, we'll see what the next year. I think we still need to go to professional accreditation for.
Last year we voted on about, I think it was $110,000 to work in apprentices for town with people who are looking to just help them with technical office stuff. Did the town ever hire an intern? No, we did not. What's that? Is there a way you stay by? Yeah. I reached out at that time, I was meeting, volunteering my dad.
We're gonna use the Wednesday afternoons because it's over there and we're gonna see the duties office. Once we were open, it was harder for us to do that, and a lot of the records were April, and she decided she personally needed to go through them to determine what needed to be kept and what didn't. And she just didn't have enough time to actually sort it through to get it to a point we could have an outside person scan it.
So it's time to just come back and see, these are lots.
But for records that we scan so far, like the town reports, if you read the town report. Town reports right now go back to about 1898. Up until today, you'll be able to look at those online, and those were scanned by Bob Monique back there, you're gonna hear probably. For that.
Anything else on $120,000 maritime preservation regional revenues? Ranger, your question?
I move we follow the.
City of Town will vote add funds to the revaluation capital reserve account in anticipation of cover. Board recommends $50,000. Roll second, $50,000. The whole for an inevitable revaluation. Discussion. Complete house. Okay. Those in favor? See £115,000 for revaluation. Those involved? Okay, that is approved. 22, see what Southern Town appropriate for legal funds to be used on approval of the select board. You heard me? Straight down. Sure they won't spend it unless they have. No. Discussion. Yeah.
One is for $30,000 more.
Steve sort of issue.
Which then, actually, we got, and it's $7,500
On one particular.
on one particular, issue that's been going on for probably about 15 years.
What issues that is?
Baker Road, they're trying to get Baker Road straightened out.
It's been going like 15 years.
We're almost ahead of the ballgame now,
We've been paying attorneys for 15 years.
no, we actually only pay when we need to talk to somebody, and actually the, reserve, so that if you need to talk to a lawyer, pretending they're also reading ordinances, you want to have, we, hook to what was there, hopefully. So. So that will remain challenged. Lot.
Okay, my point is we don't know what the code. You just asking for $30,000, spend some.
If I could just say, there's a couple of components. So, for example, this last year, we had questions about the ordinances, so we have the ordinances. We have an issue with president, interpretation or permission to file, it's like more than sure, clearly how to handle your ability colors. We studied life career, we discussed about. We hope that much money because we were facing potential costs of litigation. This is the good news. We avoided that. We started working through the ones on the simple. Or started nice. But faces all those areas where we don't know what's going. The other we're so far this year. Really, only it's not very roads. It's not, I don't think it's that. But that's what we use the money for. It's one of those things where we actually feel this is high because we don't know what come up. And we don't want it dramatically in special town meeting. But if we don't spend the money, because we didn't spend it this $50,000 went back into surplus. So we moved up the below yes. So that's kind of thing. It's being careful so we don't have to go. I'm still like that.
tax charge.
Should we have that?
Voice with me.
It's fine, it's not for you, so. Depending upon, that's the attorneys and legal issues are, yeah, it's actually gonna bleed around, that's not a bad rate.
At that rate, I'm on the cusp to make $440. Correct me if I'm wrong, this may help. I suspect very much that before any of these people go to a private attorney, they run this past the Maine Municipal Association, in-house, kind of junior attorneys. They're free, well, they come with the dues. Okay, ready? Yeah.
Things down still. So, board is, the Catholic and large. And like 1 hour. They spend half of what we do on Reader Street. So in other words, we just spend 4 times what we hopefully, with the Green Lake Road, the Safer Road issue behind them. So the 30 grand will go back into, well, surplus funds, like that. And we're done. No medical legally. That's how.
Shotgun, so we hold it. Thanks for the meeting. We're making sure. In favor? Again? 1-3. To see what's on the town of both raise and appropriate for contingent expenses. Authorized select board, transfer funds to other accounts if necessary. They recommend you raise $15,000 for contingency. Joe second. Okay, those in favor? And anybody against? The conclusion of Article 3, we got to work to 1/3 today's one. 1-3 is passed. 24, see if the town vote to increase the property tax levy limit of $774,464 established in West Point Arm by state laws. The infamous Alvin law. Will be announced to the municipal budget approved under the preceding articles will result in tax commitment greater than that property tax levy limit. Motion? And moved and seconded.
Yeah.
Two new people participate and see that property tax levy limit is part in the proceedings. You're. Yes. That comes up. Any other discussion? We're going to slide through everything. Oh, you got it, yeah, we're going to see. It's going to see.
Yeah. Every ordinance goes, so, yeah.
So legislature, whole balls for toss.
Right, so if we voted against this, Donna, would it mean that we'd have to trip all these articles a little bit to conform with Elton one?
Okay, shall we vote? Article 24, to increase the property tax levy limit.
This is a written down, required that we have it written down, that's required by the law. And actually, this might be the last time that we have to do this. Hopefully, it will be repealed, but in the meantime, we'll have to get out, you'll get an opportunity to stretch the legs. You'll line up to the left of the stage, and for those of you who are identified, no problems with that, I'm gonna hand it, so I can go over to you. Get a member from 8. So, the next table, the first, that one, affected to the right, and then go with something to eat. Fire department has something, stretch the leg, and move back on the end.
Like to bring it, on Article 4. Property Wow. Anyone on the sound of the law, raising the bill trading for general assistance. So I. Any. Federal system happens to work much. So they give me a law. Oh. June 29, 25. There you go. You file a tenant. One soon. We'll see what some of the town appropriate to appropriate for each of the following service organizations. That are listed here. And allow the. And select. In total, for each organization. Martin. Oh, second. Everyone already moved as read. Discussion, however.
I was going to make a motion that we accept that through Article 31, which we vote on every year.
6 to 31. What's favorite on such a move? Who made the motion on Article 26 as a standalone? Anybody accomplish that? Degree of dishonesty sometimes is helpful. Will you accept? Will you join her in her motion to take up 26 through 31 as a group? And a second? Can he come? Long-term. Reading on 27. 27. See if the town of Baltimore raising the short rate $1,093 for contracted services with Medco Humane for shelter services. 28, raising the quote rate $121,870. The town share of the cash and transfer station operating expenses. 29, raising the quote rate $5,000. Resident status for West Point Island residents of the community center. 30, raising the quote rate $27,441 as requested by the cash management service. Number 31. See if the town vote raising the total rate $5,700 and the collective plan of the Catholic Public Library. I have motion from second floor to take up 26 through 31 as a group. So you will have one vote up or down on the left until anybody even think about doing this. There was a motion to amend one part of the other. So, do you want discussion on the wisdom of taking them together? No, you don't. Those in favor of taking down 26 through 31 in the all together, and those opposed, I don't even need to see it. Yeah. So we now have 26 through 31 on the floor. Discussion in favor of against that, and as they're written, as I've read it. No discussion. Article 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. How say you? In favor? Opposed? This is stuff. Thanks.
Yes.
See what sum the town will vote to raise and appropriate for the annual operation and maintenance of the salt and sand shed. Recommendation is $1,500.
Second.
Move to second at 1,500. Annual operation, sand and salt shed. I understand it is got. In favor? Again? Hell. 33. To see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to contract for plowing services for 2 years. And on some other terms and conditions, the select board deems are in the best interest of town. And 66,230 such services in the current fiscal year. Selectmen to recommend approval. Motion. Second. No, right now. Yeah, we're all. Right, it's fine. No. Oh. That's because town frequently fight over that. Drain this town and 34. See if the town will vote to authorize $37,000 to be transferred to state highway fund procurement of sand and salt. The current fiscal year. You come up, move second, and with 37 sand and salt. We're voting here, we're showing the comments. And again. We will prove that it's very good. Very proud. See how some of the town both great programs, the payments of town roads and bridges. The road and the select board recommend $130,000 for roads and bridges. Move and seconded, $130,000 bridge. You see no hand. Show me if you approve. And if you don't. And you do. You see what some of the town will raise and appropriate for paving is recommended by the road commissioner. Road commissioner and the select board recommend $25,000 for paving. And I got a motion. And I got a second. Number 5, okay. Yeah. Raise your hand, no. Relax. Very sad. To see what's on the top, will raise the appropriate and continue the long-term paving program as recommended by the road. Phase 3 of the long-term paving program is estimated to cost up to $650,000 and will involve multiple placement, ditch work, paving, road from Main Road to Redgate Lane and Main Road, starting at Lower West Shore Road to the end of the Hot Top and Harris Point Road. Selected the road commissioner recommend $125,000 be raised by taxation appropriated for this purpose. $200,000 be transferred to excise tax collected in fiscal year 23-24. And up to $325,000 be borrowed from a line of credit for a total amount of $650,000.
I move this morning.
Move. I hear Justin for those amounts for those sources for that purpose. There's an phase 3, if you want paving program, show you what it's doing, see? This one,
You people asked that I got heard. So. Just you, my background, Steve Roser.
substandard condition, as you all know, products. So this has been getting cheaper, that's why. I had to put two projects together, the 650s. I was trying to stay under 100,000, but. I tried to go to two projects, 500,000, down 650,000 in February. In fact, if you August 4.
So how much is this, let's say down, how much of this was bought for the?
Oh,
And how much went out of it last year from the, down there? So the, vote, somewhere it's, improve 130 years, one out of 90, so what? How would you let the example? All the third. Then I said, all the makers, you can work on really for music in order to hear. Right, now. It's the Bible, backing home, they want elder, very sure. The Bible is not how to be a day, but it's that. It's very so, but a third of that would be really less of a commercial work, when free work, whole work, range level, stone damage, legal stone damage, there are January songs. That's what that record went going. Work on Bayshore Road, work on Chilton Road, now work on Chilton Road, which is balance. Bayshore Road, be continued. Okay, so speaking of that article right now, so what's the issue? Not someone else said, it's so. The 6 minutes long, long. Pretty sure, number, 1 minute, 8 minutes. Yeah. One of the things you know, this move of paying for paying program. So last year we thought there's exactly your what we're going to do to advertise, making careful there with our funds to keep them so. Well, this is to help Jim get more done. And so it's a 2-year program. $650,000, we're going to fund $325,000 this year, and the coming back next year. So we'll exposure, we'll be planning coming back next year. That's from the 25 this. And one of the good things we did this last year, we lined up a line. And relatively low distribution, 4.86%. And so we can draw on that. You guys still anything we need this year? Again, next meeting, we expect to go back and ask you more. Again, trying to lift loss to borrow. So what you might pull is 400 words. Right here.
You have asked pertinent questions, and given straightforward and useful answers. And I expect you will recruit very good some money. Everything's wrong. Is there further discussion? All right. 670,000, legal means. And before we make this article, I already told you, the road commissioner's claims he's my own friend. But I think about thing my next to me. Thank you.
I don't like her.
We're all working. All right. See what's on the town about raising appropriate. And you know, father. Or you saw. Raising and appropriated to the Westport Volunteer Fire Department for operating expenses, training, and member stipends. And I, in the room, I would recognize the fire chief to make a motion on this. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stacy Hutchinson. I'm the fire chief. Did bring some handouts, very broken out. Please share. Just give an overview of what we're spending the money on. Why we're going, asking to be.
And let's make a motion to get it on the floor.
Can I make the motion? So, year 23, our budget is 69,000. Everything. This year, our maximum is 99,000. What I intend to do is increase our stipends. Right now, making $6,000 total in stipends, for working people, that's $1,600 a piece. And that equates to about $6 an hour. When you break down the hours that we're doing for calls, training, and other things. I'm looking at going up to $4,000 per person. And that will be more of an on-call, much like other departments. So that's one of the things I'm looking for locally, and the other is just to buy more equipment. We're looking at having to phase out some of our older FPVAs, turn out here in radios. So we need some money to go and invest in them. But I'm also, just, I don't want to get too long. I know everybody's kind of ready to go, but a lot of what we need to spend our money on is not cost. Annual testing, we're spending $8,800 for testing, forwards, FTDA, these are all major, but FTDA's business expenses, a little over $5,000. Health premium tax credits, the fire department is in group with a couple other fire chiefs association or firefighter groups. Our utilities, $10,000 a year for electrical, internet, phones, vehicle, heating oil. Fire equipment, we already spent $11,000 this year. We bought new leather boots for every firefighter. They're a big improvement over the other ones. They're a lot more comfortable, especially out in the winter when we're doing fuel removal, things like that. SCBA's, I bought 4 SCBA packs in Boston. It's $1,000 to use from Jefferson. A new pack itself is going to cost $3,000 a piece, plus another $1,000 a piece of all. Everything in the fire service is expensive. Radios. Jason has done a great job of getting radios for the members. They're not interior attacks. The ones that we need for interior attacks are over $1,000 a piece. Because you say firefighter, you say interior attack, the price is still less. Julia's work getting a rate for that. We're hoping that comes through. That would really offset that cost. But with grants, we don't have it. So it's pretty much that's what we've been spending our money on, is just baseline what we need to do. And to go forward, yes, then needs to spend a little bit more on equipment. And I want to pay my people a little bit. I respect what they do, appreciate what they do, and want to make sure that they're compensated for the time and giving up in the middle of the night, time and missing work, time that, run out in the middle of dinner, the trains that we go to, and the third of the year. The other page is the number of calls. 2022, we had 100 calls. This last year we had 139. EMS is our biggest, and it could be anywhere from someone else, gun Google to, because of life of that situation. We had lift assist fire alarms, 420. We won another year, no structural fire. That is great. But it's We can set that in way from being, that long. So we're always trying to be ready for that. That's what I train, that's what our main goal is. And our focus is just to be available whenever someone needs something. You hit a car, if you hit a gear, we're gonna come to it. You need your basement pumped out, or you flooded during one of the storms, we're gonna go with that. If needs come down on the wires, we're gonna come, working with them, take care of it. We're trying to be a full service provider. This year, we've had fish trucks shot to 5 call, which is good, a little bit lower. I always tell people, if you need us, call. We're here, wherever you need.
Good question. Instead of reaching the stipend, what would it cost to hire a full-time 9-to-5 person?
The 115 person, we actually have to pay that salary plus their benefits. I think going price of a single person, would probably cost 35,000, I think. Firefighter / ambulance is probably gonna be, it's, $20 an hour. So that'd be 40,000 plus benefits plus. I understand what you're thinking, especially during the day. Most of my firefighters are working offline. And our biggest, shortage is during the day. So that would be a thing to help augment. Would I do it in lieu of paying other people's stipends? No, I would not. Just because I feel that every member, deserve that little bit of, it's not much, but it's, would I consider it in addition to? That could be something you could look into, based on, on. Am I taking your spot by calling on people?
No.
So that.
Thank you, Don.
She was here, so she.
Yeah, we did some pump track testing on her pond, and she graciously allowed us to put a dry. And in doing so, the family scared off the leaders that were wrecking her trees. So,
Did we give you more money for the fire department like John wanted?
no, I try to balance what I need, what I think I'm gonna need, against what the town can support. I try to be a good steward of my position. That would be great, but this is kind of what I think I need and kind of want to call it that. Because I'm also asking for was it $35,000 capital reserve? That's something to set aside for major investments. We did spend last year because we put a cistern down by the Bradford, that's a 10,000 gallon cistern that's gives us water all year round. Even though we live on an island, water is a critical resource, especially in a fire plant. Down the south end, there isn't much for water. That gives us in any mutual aid the ability to quickly get water for firefighting incidents. When we have a fire, we use water, we use water call, versus and that gives us water, we wouldn't have down the south end. Otherwise, we have to either get it from Midland, Point Road, or from the cabin. Yeah, in a dire emergency, we can draft off from the river, but access there is sometimes difficult. But thank you. Any other questions?
And, with that, regarding, since 93, are greatly, appreciated for this town. Back in 93, here in our fire, we had a radio traffic, we did not have good trucks. If you got it out of that fire, I never would recommend for anybody, even if I knew it. If they were considered for this in the activity, right? Not very done.
Yeah.
I think we all.
Good.
Yeah.
We've got a great crew. A lot of them have gone on to done the fire one too, which is the gold standard for the papers. We've been setting up EMT and we're actually looking at putting supplemental prescription EMT. Don't have blood manager, we have the smoke detectors, in batteries, make it another. So I think.
You have my fire chief, or D one, or mine. What you got, feel like the wrong commissioner in the heart. First thing he did when he got the salary article was stand up and say, well, I think we ought to raise the road commissioner salary by $5,000. And they did. They did. All right. Been given every. $99,000. West Fork Volunteer Fire Department in favor. We could do that. Again. With that, and then you have. You see what's on the town of Baltimore Grace to appropriate the fire department to be covered by the Maine Municipal Association for workers' compensation, liability insurance, long-term insurance for responders. Northern York Select Board recommend $13,000.
So moved.
I got a motion. And second, discussion. Oh, 39 in favor. Oh. 39. Yeah. Article 4. Okay, what following accountable raising appropriations in the fire department to serve the public. This will be used for capital projects, which is fire department, water cisterns, replacement. Then we fall outside normal operations costs. The fire department and the select board recommend $30,000 be raised for this nurse.
So.
Moses. Ready. Discussion. In favor. Opposed. It's clear and silent. Clear and sway your heart and mind. Yes, it's right. However, the Camden County Baltimore Grace appropriated $1,500 for the ambulance subscription to the Starlink Internet service. The EMA director and the select board recommend to do that.
It's so
Inside. Discussion. $1,500. Right, then the Elon Musk. That's right.
You get it all. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, and it would require.
One, it's certain work in our room, but without. It's also portable, so if we have a major, hazard situation, we can take it off the fire station. Put the rescue and run it there to support, breaking the long term. Yes, sir.
This is an emergency also, the fire department, if you don't have my side, you can go there and use one.
So normally, like, power, the fire station, there's garlic work there.
Use it, Skyrim doesn't work.
The literally speaking on any area. Fine, no matter. Yeah, like, it's going up the fire keeps on running. So then the old area is cable, one of the batteries, so on the poles, it turns off. So the battery, it's depends on how. Yeah, it runs a little bit down, but battery will hold, and we can just replace the batteries. It would go out as soon as power outages. Down, solid.
Everybody started is satellite tree. So like, tree fall on the line, you lose our communications. It could be on island or down island. It still can have, in. The emergency. Communications as well. It's kind of double gun. If you guys want to understand it, what you start. So, this is into the. So as we, if you go to this fire station, yeah, you know, that service, you might stop. Yeah. We need that answer with the communication, it's available as part of the we.
That's for me, if you need to get internet service, you can turn your cell phone, like park outside the, put it in the, yes, so you got the Wi-Fi, any non-specific situation. Yeah, so you're doing now with just Wi-Fi in the town hall, town office and fire stations. So if you park outside, you should just get Wi-Fi and you'll see the. Fire station, it's dark. You're gonna be like, oh, 1 hour and 40 watt, yard, favor? Anybody again? 41 was passed. Great. 42. All the town both raised the hand, grant match. No check, and you should exceed $500 without voting proof. Conservation Commission recommends $1,000 be added.
With an amendment.
Ready?
To amend.
Motion.
I mean,
Second, what is your motion?
like I did before, to accept articles 42 through 46.
Jesus, 42 through 6, take them up as a group. Okay. You jumped in and finally. Okay. Did anybody else got the board, Brad? You were second. Did you know that? What are you doing? I figured there was a possibility. Any discussion on the procedural matter, taking 42 and 46 together has worked so well several arguments ago. Any discussion? No. Those in favor, taking them as a group. And no one and I know. 2 to 46. We've already heard 42, 43. Apply for and accept grants from state and federal agencies for that tree conservation tidal crossings to accommodate projected sea level rise and storm damage. Here's require town matching 10%. Conservation Commission recommends approval. For the board, apply for and accept $50,000 community energy grant and no to the town to upgrade municipal building for 50 efficiency improvements. For the energy dollars, improvements for the heat pump and possibly solar. That's what you're gonna do, recommend control. Authorize the select board to apply for grants and agree to the terms and conditions, execute that document, accept grant funds, and authorize their expenditures for the following purposes. Making town buildings easy to supply. 46. Being accountable to authorize the select board to apply for grants and agree to terms and conditions and tell us what. That's security practice related to the second grant funds if awarded that authorize their expenditures. Right? The enrolling center for town facility. No. Any Unanimous consent with all of those are. Two-thirds of the way, people. Or the left. John orders. All of that. Now, there's a criminal condition to that. You already have, am I right, that you have all of these ordinances in one folder? There's nothing new. There's no anything new order.
The first two are completely new, and they're attached to the warrant.
The first two ordinances, if you want to, question their purpose, explore their validity, the field is open for, this is a big surprise, we've never done this before, two new ordinances. The balance of them are, as I understand it, a number of changes to the language of existing ordinance to avoid or clear up confusion. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, the first two are new, and then the rest are amendments to existing ordinances.
So. If you're going to be contentious, well. You're against it on current, what I'm doing. And the balance of them are wording changes. The punctuation, definition, meanings, to all friends here. If in turn. The sentences on those are. You will still have. Well, whatever confusion. And, you know. This is business made. Will still be here. I hope that's clear. And I have been corrected further to it. Really, thank you. Let's see what they say. Shall an ordinance titled Westport Island Increased Housing Opportunities Ordinance be enacted? The council gets posted together with this one and hereby incorporated into this one by reference. You should know. Ordinance is required to establish an affordable housing policy requiring tenants to amend right ordinances to comply with the new law. And you want to, therefore, the planning board and select board recommend that you approve this because apparently you are. Select boards are never there on. That right, 47. Swear 47. Move it in red. 1 second. No. No. 7. I'm following them back and through. I only form. So they were not being regulated or against the other modifications of other words. I don't have no doubt it, but I think one thing you should be aware of is the consequences that they rejected were in which by they creating or indirect recruiting. I'm not the one to elucidate exact points of that. A lot of the elements that someone else currently was planning for is specified so that we have to should be public. Yeah.
You're something for so we're obviously when they're bringing up the minimums, and the track in the ordinance, John Henderson, who's in the room, have particular living ordinances. And we have been going before, making sure the adhere to state minimum, the LP 2003 is on. If people are not privy to what LP 2003 is, well, it's the state's mandate that we announced last year to increase housing density which doesn't change much on our count because we do not have a designated growth area for renewal. So there's no danger of multiple multi-housing or subsidized multi-family apartment. In fact, this is just bringing it up that now, the only thing that's changed, and I might defer to George, doesn't like this there, but the only thing that's changed is that now small unit considered we consider 50 square feet is our maximum. We now have to a lot that is minimum required. So 1.5 acres in the interior and 2 acres on the water. There.
Ready?
Joe Donahue, Benburn, my question is this, there's my understanding, and not the redundancy, but what's the number required, will. In one for town for so many. Has that been changed now, this is it, and getting the current orders.
2 acres of the water to be in and out to fund months here or
And sure, that's in. Joe, we will get fully now. That's not the chairman.
no, there's nothing.
Nothing changes in our existing ordinance in terms of minimum lots.
Yeah.
Nothing changes.
And that's very important because of our scarcity and water. The one thing that does change is sunshine, which is related to these accessory dwellings, which are like a problem. If you live, so it's like we shoreline zone, you have, adding a, accessory dwelling doesn't require an increase. So if you got a house on an acre, you look down a shoreline zone, this would put over the way. 190 square foot that you have in the it more. Factory well, providing things, complying with all. Subsurface waste water, the you to show that one capacity to set up. The other element is it's requiring that the use in building of if you apply on the vehicles, you have to go and walk and something. Right out. It's going to with the second. This ordinance does apply and. Other going still related that no danger. If you are to do an additional dwelling or accessory dwelling, make sure when you build, still the two ways is your feet. Those out of shoreline doing, you are additional dwelling. Actually, I don't know how deeply you read the order. There's really, it's 3 separate issues. One is road research, state one, multiple hunting, which and the area that public we don't agree. That is the second rule, which they kind of far west for line. The next one is the additional dwellings. And this legislation, wanted to make sure that housing, wanted to get introduced property, and limited because you want multiple piles. One order to build a restriction on the number of dwellings that you have on one. The dwelling community area dimensional requirement, so that's anywhere in that's per user to see down the shore on one. And then some other dimensional requirement that didn't have to be wrong. So none of that changes in this ordinance. The only thing you can set the dwelling except for. Nobody consider accessory dwelling. And accessory dwelling area is a separate dwelling. Limited like size between 20 and 90 square feet, 850 square feet. Like in the, if on one side is 50 dwelling, in the, expect a building. One is the other, 850 square foot. When you create no problem, question here, so not planning, like, that's the size footprint petition. On the same house, would be to be. Not necessarily, so we would have to make an application. And then this ordinance does create a little bit of advantage in rural villages. Because if you've got when I want to be on the ample area of the rest of it's. You may apply a very, change my interpretation, you got high, standard, no, it's for if you're out some shooting going and store together. One second, this is your. So then you can let it, and that's a people sort of. Well, the business is to make sure that the accessory dwelling or an adequate park. Whereas in this proposal, the requirement that you have a water tax show that you have total. It doesn't have any specifically talk about. We did this water, it was so clear, and of the 236 ones, 51%, and you give it as water quality, how people of us were at, and 15% can drink your water. So it's got to be contemplated in the density of housing, and water extraction plants. Probably, I mean, I haven't seen the soil when you started it was done. I don't know, a lot of things would respond, which people would maybe try to say in the city. No, I'm not sure it should be. They should look at it better, study it was showing. Well, you can, part of the study, you've got captain, we're making captain go out. And he's showing you all the wells that you just system show every well on the tax maps. And it runs to the saltwater and shooting column. Finally, this is a big thing, and we don't, and we sit around and we don't believe in them. Local water turns salty and so you gotta come in the other water and consumer himself. Right now, it's 15% of the people who are flooded in states don't drink the water. They bring the water, they have to, that's the way they should do. I think we need to, be proactive about this, figure out how much development is doing. Really, for the health of the water stability. And following boards to the electric localities, and the inside, we must, and we need that very well. Well, I want to keep going, this is greater in terms of kind of. You've got to do something that's
intention that we discussed as a community, if you were there in the beginning when before your action. And we decided we were going to work to address these issues. We have to making this ordinance to meet minimum state requirements. We did not have to put state from the developer, and that is the goal of the planning board to that data presented to us. It's doing our best to meet the state and what requirements and not let it go in without an ordinance to let, for instance, one of the things we did decide on was decide we have to decide that they do 800 acres for. But we're not to vote on this, we would do on one side, so someone with 100 with like 33 house. Internal law, parcel would be able to build up whatever maximum they want. And I'd also like to see, the full data of that well survey in your chance, but I also like to know 30 inches of those residences that you're reporting on for seasonal residents.
Over there.
This is a little stuff. So maybe the ordinance. Under protections of this ordinance of 2003 to prevent people from building additional structures and then down the road subdividing. And we don't know when you manage small, is it, yes, you can build it. Into perpetuity, connected, and going to never be wrong.
Or the opportunity zones to get the ordinance, all of the area and the nature of flags. You never expect to have, you know, really, movie exception of all our, something beyond the trying to remain. So if somebody were to have 40 acres in your house, we can, well, meeting of well, it will start for a while. And then one of them, built an accessory line meeting. And it's probably still kind of split it off, if there are two, lots, where apartments, they probably, one of them actually, such a. This, I mean, this is, basically, residents here, and they're feeding each other up. 6 or 8 months structures, I'm thinking. It's, what, and we'll have to see how we can see this. I would have done what I have along with, but what we thought was really written is to make sure that production that you have in 20 months, building, still remaining that, about. No worries.
You got a hand up, Chris? You got a hand up.
I want to talk there. That's all right. Yeah, I'm just getting through. Okay. John Henderson again, my partner, I was working on these, ordinance along with the folder. You can. What, everybody, how I put them into the water, my machine, really hit a story. We started on this, we were breaking to the for your having all. We had here during that process, we went through 9 rounds of work. We probably spent over 100 hours in even talking about it. And we got a lot of healthy, as Gary indicated, some of it was work. And we'll continue to get the word to the walls. The fact it's one of the we include the larger flower. The help. We can done. That we have. That is very good. Well, it doesn't want to be concerned and get with that. So, just put point on that. The planning board involved, the written on time information in the town. Maybe staff report, local flood warning, the town. Thank you, 30 work here. So this photo by way of showing us the very fairly good. We did that like this. That literally. To the bottom, as Gary said, a lot of what we spent time trying to figure out what the heck was. While it would not hold back, they probably like that 2 or 3 problems in the use of fire. Now we're already and we got to sure about. Then you do think of jobs and all that. Yeah, the past the way a lot to fly for it. You was an act on sure we what they says, that's a little bit. Whoa. And municipalities not or when to fly for this town. This legislation. State. We got it. You just have it's legal. There.
She'd like to have 2 things, this open technology also made it so that this ordinance couldn't be any more restrictive than our building code exists today. there are no restrictions within this ordinance that would say more restricted to go into temporary home. The second thing I want to bring up is, it does not supersede HOA covenants. So anybody who's in an HOA, this is not supersede their covenants.
Okay. Right. Article 47. Ordinance. An ordinance for the picture to apply the state law. You heard the present penalty of the job. Third, then suggested that the legislature of the Delaware Territory rule. You may have next year or subsequent year. Related to improve or program consistency or the bottom box. Nevertheless, your own. Okay. That's where we are. Okay. Half hour discussion. Those in favor, Article 47. What do you want? Those opposed. You have approved. Not ordered. 48. John Morton, title. What? You. Will I be included? Yeah. The top. See, to be able to handle this material, stored in one sport engine from unit closed factory neighbors in the select. Reference. This again, to the orders. What's for this ordinance? Motion? Motion. Made it, seconded to approve Article 48. Discussion. So you heard venue.
The current property we're looking to approach still requires larger than files to read within 15 days. Okay, because it's on the website of the back.
Oh, sorry, that's okay. Sorry. That's my fault.
What was the question? The questions.
During the ordinance, you may entry items included at the time. Requiring to move large short files within 15 days. So I thought it was online, it was possible here. So I think we can sign up with that renewal and the US it still reflects that, and I don't know whether. It's strengthened.
In the warrant.
It's the warrant, and I'm double checking. We didn't make those changes, Jason, and I don't see it in this version that's attached to the warrant. Probably what happened, I've shared it on the website in a few different places, and I've probably failed to change it in all those places. Yep.
Ask Julie.
Much of what is printed on here seems to be very vague and not specific to what it says. Allowing any discharge of your environment toxic or noxious materials with considerations of endangering the health and public. Do the specifics on them, because most of these are just vague statements that can be interpreted in many different ways. And also along with that, one of the items that they had was iron, scrap metal, scrap lumber, masonry block. I happen to be recycling pallets, rebuilt the chicken fencing, down to many other things, and also burn it. This article basically based for which me, do I know all about it? But the other thing too is, if they do this article, they're gonna tell you how much you have to cut the lawn, when you have trees. I mean, this is a nuisance ordinance. And the other thing was, one select person can make a complaint, but it takes two actual residents. So you can see people, whether they're select person or not.
If you want to address any of that.
No, I was gonna be helpful to the draft ordinance to stand and speak to the reason behind the ordinance, like we did last year in Julie. We're gonna kind of speak about the backgrounds, why they wrote it, the names, and what's in there, what you can directly today.
Okay,
There's no species that has to let in force.
right here about for the store going for the
Yeah.
Okay, so everything we got will help this one.
So the ordinance, the ad hoc ordinance will be student this year. And there were several things which are before you now that we, brought have been dealt with, and it does usually come up when there's another issue that we see is going through cracks and we're not able to deal with it. So we felt that the ordinance would be more helpful. The state has a junkyard statute already, which lists a lot of very particulars. But not every instance would qualify in the junkyard and for the state statute. So we thought that this ordinance would be helpful to us to be able to help people in the community when they have an issue with a neighbor that is possibly doing things that inflict upon that. So it's really about the water safety, the pipes leaching into the soil, into our aquifers. This is not about going around and policing the neighborhood. This is about giving us a tool to be able to help people resolve issues in the community. Bottom line, if you don't like it, just vote it down. It's not gonna stop us from moving forward if you have to, you can tell this is as it is. It's just the tool that we thought would help us when it comes to complaints or support. On 60B, motion to see motion to grant couple mat tracks rubber surge and rotten lumber, tracking materials, scrap metal. So. Even big animals have been hurt to composting. So, okay, you know what? You're 100% right. And this was a tough one in the community detail. And I just want to shout out some of my committee members here. I want to thank them again publicly for sticking with this process. It was brutal. Darryl Richardson, Don Wilson, Ron Susan, Jim Cromwell, Chris Elliott, Robert Ralph Jacobs, Greg Ray, and Dave Gap. Those are the real ones that stuck it out for the whole time. And it wasn't easy. And it's not easy to find. Again, it was a tool. And we have told is to report on it. So we have to do this today. And first one, we had Nick people, and the second one, Kate Shilla. So we're trying to impart the information, so we didn't have to sit here today and discuss it ad nauseam. So I would suggest if it's not put forward, if it wasn't. And yes, the wording could be seem arbitrary. But the point is that you have the strength, right? You have useful it's all ways. We're not going to go around policing people and making sure their lawns are beautiful. There's us who says, my neighbor's got 55 gallon drums lined up along the fence and they're rotting, so I don't know what we're sitting on. Right? The government, it's not a junk art, it's an interesting thing to help. So it was just a way to look into it and possibly help to learn the situation.
You.
I just wanted to add something, unfortunately, I don't plan on working children now, but I really make sure that you refer to the ordinance to be adopted, so to provide statutes 3001, and in fact, 3001 is kind of definitions relating to a lot of the things that you put in here, is not true. So that can be communication purpose.
That 3001 only says here's the town and building made the ordinance, it doesn't do that things.
Okay.
You're next.
But, when I made this, I think that the original approach. Not to be policing people carry on. All the time. If you decide, if some leader decides, then it's just gonna take a lot.
And keep throwing it, you know, and take care of it for 6 months, and it's got rats and things like that, at the convenience store, I wouldn't be able to go to town and say, what the hell's going on? And likewise, if you decide to compost, and yet one of access to you took the dock on your compostable material to a big pile and didn't excavate the appropriate thing to turn that nice first going through to hang out and didn't actually compost. Make it clean. That's what I would do, and they would talk to them, little to me. Y'all, still, when they still live in a record, other race, getting the care. And I remember the extended saying, ladies, maybe the dog that is around the city, what, the guy cannot be in their problem. But it's hard. Right? You always, if you simply do not go into the weeds or chemical. Because if you start with the chemicals, there's always gonna be one that you get. It's so affecting our water. So if you're dealing with what fire involved, you're gonna do bad shit. And destroy our water. Wow, they are looking for environmental conditions. Or if it raises to the threshold that it's affecting you in the third, maybe somebody you're doing there. We're not looking to make sure everybody belongs in the house too. Okay, for like somebody to, if you got old furniture, you gotta have a partner, don't care. Face you want to eliminate places where people have to rents from reading, something, piece of magazine, where if you go shoot rats, you fire. But the rain, we don't need the environment here. We're saying we're trying to think of market rules for everything. It's your worst one, all the shit look. Okay, that ways. Whole bunch or one spot in the lower part of their property. What's going to be fatal. Inform what that it's going to look at my shit. It's going to be see. Don't you want to like always get the color and the grass. If you want to have a confidence, go for it. But you know, we knew that this was a sticky thing going into it. We wanted to try to piss off a few people that promised it, and I even still and walked on. But
I think it's both ways, but I think originally the intent was looking at junkyard versus nuisance. And I think, you're also looking at section 2, permitting, creating, or maintaining a nuisance. That can also be interpreted multiple ways. And some of us live in HOAs, some of us don't. And you also interpret this as you're turning the island into a complete HOA when you're regulating how everybody manages their property. Some people moved here to have their property and do what they wanted on their property. I think the problem is when you look at this and say, someone has to tattletale on their neighbor. And then it becomes, you're creating a quiet bedroom community, and now you're having people look to each other and look next door to each other and saying, oh, I don't like how someone is maintaining their property. I have a nuisance ordinance now. I can now go and report them as I don't like how they keep things on their property. And I think we just have to be careful with the word nuisance, because anything can now be interpreted as a nuisance. Oh, I don't like the fact that you have set up a butter with much old furniture around your yard and want to have a little fireplace kit that's old furniture. So I think, and maybe that's not considered a nuisance, but we're gonna have people look at your yards, look at how you keep things, and maybe someone's doing a compost pit, but they're not doing it properly. Maybe it's having education on composting. But I think what it is that you're opening it up to be creating an island-wide HOA.
Go down and heading to suitable amount of property that's in trees. And in that river, and the water by falling down, but some of them are. It's back at a different place in that tree area. And I'm wondering if is that close to the burning or the tree in there with decay. Would somebody come and say we need to dispose of those trees? Being Bradford. I think the ordinance is something that the person who looked up to the name of the units, actually affected is. Moving on the line. Every year, by the vacuum, they just threw it outside, they threw out people staying mattresses and the astronauts. You need my case with our government would be right time and this involved here for everybody in the articles. If that needs to do go out and here people case for the environment style. I don't think that's going to happen. Never had any events. Overreaction. Strategy is, we're a tool, we'll things. You can't always put money on twice. And I think the ordinance, people say nonsense. Like $10 that pollution. So I think we would count on the judgment of our government leaders, not to overreact to the term useful. Yes. You're. Seconds. Close debate. Stop, they come up, they go down. Procedural motion to end debate takes precedence over anybody's hand that might be up. That's just the way it is. I didn't say the rule. If you want to rule me, you can, but you gotta get 2/3 for me to do it. I'm okay with it. Want to try? It's true. I have to honor the rush. Talk about inside today, nobody's objecting. And select that when that motion is made. I do not sure I will do so again. One last night. Close debate. How say you? In favor? Show me your cards. Show me again. Okay. There be no mistake. Keep them up. Thank you. We got 16 in favor of closing debate. Joseph Hall. And way more than 16 to debate continues. Why don't speak? Why don't that word people are so very wisdom. I'm saying child, right? I have
What's your name, sir?
John.
John?
Yeah. You hear me? Yes, fine. I've lived on this line all my life. I mean, one of these people, if you're considering a nuisance. I have wood. I have a house that I took down off the preserve up the road here, sitting in my field right now. Been there for a few years. I was sick all last year. So it's still sitting there. Now. What I don't understand is, how we are making an ordinance, and I'm sure you guys have a list of people. That you were gonna go after, well, I have a list of people I think you after, and we'll see how it compares. There's a lot of people down on this island that have a lot of things in their yard, have a lot of things in their yard for years. It's not hurting anybody. It's not hurting you, it's not hurting me. So what do you care? I understand about the trash. I understand about things that are hazardous. We already have laws against that. That's perfectly fine. If someone is dumping trash in their yard, yeah, you should clean it up. But what else? Come on. You know, you have people down here that have construction businesses, that have equipment sitting out in their yards or sitting in their lot. Is that gonna be considered a nuisance? But they can't work on it? And anyone here try to get parts for things lately? It takes months. So we have equipment sitting in our yards. Big deal. It's not your yard. It's my. I pay the taxes on it. I've been doing it for 50 years now. So who are we to say that you need to get rid of your vehicles, that you want an hour parking or your wood piles or whatever else there is? I mean, seriously, this ordinance is ridiculous. I mean, some of the things in it make sense, but there's already laws against that. Yeah, we're not gonna be dumping gallons of oil into the streams or whatever else, you know. Just let us be. We've lived down here for a long time. We just want to be, this is the first town meeting I've been to in 35 years. Because I accept that you guys are gonna do what you're supposed to be doing. But now I have to show up at a town meeting because of a full ordinance, because I have a wood pile in my yard and someone doesn't like the looks of. So just let us be. We all live here together. We all accept you, the people that moved in. Just, just let us be. I mean, I tore down a house. Because I didn't want to see it burn, because I was planning on using material. And like I said, I got sick, things didn't happen. I still want to use it probably, hopefully. But now you're restricting me to have building material on my property for what is 2 weeks or 25 days or whatever the heck it is. It's been there for 2 years now. I might visit it, I'm planning for it, but things happen. I mean, that's just, I just want to be left alone, and I think a lot of people down here just want to be left alone. All right, it's my property. Let me do what I want to do with it. You don't like the looks of it, I'm sorry. I mean, you should at least just come to people. Instead of making an ordinance. If you really have a problem with somebody's yard, go talk to me. All right? You don't need anything. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. John mentioned the meeting of her, I took on the ones you had. We can be little burn. Not want to do it. Your part of it. All we ever do. Then we flag. Why somebody needs something, they're off. You're all, build another build. There are a lot of help, that's what we think about. What we need to do. They wall, one here. Any person, anger, comfort. Property. Or the to the state by common, public, or private use. They maintain it, yeah, the better, if you're black. That's not what we said all over. The ordinance is very specific, went through a long list of things, throughout more than half. It's what you just made, exactly what is that. You created in response to the select board request, a process. That's working on a way to keep them coffee. The guidance in this level, then that's not to start out where finding do things. Then find the law. So instead of calling a elected person as being ran around head and shoulders, say do something. Yeah, that accept and balance. If they two people. Go and see over, go there. He opened the post, we got it all worked up. I got it back. So what what's out there? Was they already do on now? We stand forward and do. It's awesome. It's why. Also, it's back to all proper over
Thing is, I know that this order direct that means directly, okay, I live in 43 direct. 2019, I lost my home to fire. Called the dawn off the island for a year and a half. Came back, we're obviously had our home rebuilt, we're there living in our family. But that's the feelings. I also have 2 garden tractors, but they're kind of collection from when I was raising. I had a high road actual portable shelters, but they're not allowed to be outside where you can see. Half of them run, half of them don't, but I plan on fixing them up. They either sell or possibly doing landscaping again when I retire. Cycle lumber from the house, I'm restoring for more than 12 months. The next 2 or 3 years on a project. I've got 4x8 sheets of 5/8 plexiglass that I recovered that was going to be thrown into a landfill. Plan to use that to build a garden or a solar change. Looking at doing all kinds of different things. I work with metal. I'm a mechanic of over 40 years. I'm trying to just use what I have around me. I'm trying to get clean up my job right now and I have been duties. And keep that, it's all likely included, financially, let's bring that out. What? We all have to do. We all. Being told, I'm not allowed to do my moves. Because I'm getting all the trees that are falling down in the last 6 months. Have them up, making actual lumber out of it. But I can't, the policy, I want to be able to reach that, because maybe you'll have to go here. So this, or that, prior to stuff we've done to see our with my yard. I had over 1,000. I had over 50 or 60 pieces of equipment. You know, the one place I found a vermin or a thing of rain in a lot president using the mold, which gets you once a week. There was nothing else anywhere. None of my house pile, none of the town pile, none of the wood pile. Oh, your wife, it's beautiful timber. Stuff, the whole stuff for them. And I'm trying to get her highlighted. She's got taken cross pieces off pallets to make a nice wood form, like that. He's doing it all the way around this little fire. Don't with it so late by has the actual full edge or small. Too much work. House and he's near the fence. We have 2 dogs that are popping down beside another dog. And I think it's to be the format work. Put out a pair of so pretty close to left. The kid drive kind of close in. He landed in 5 or 6 The other uses 4x4. Which are a home, which has not been free. Looks like it's used for all the rest of the studies. It's you can find $310,000, what I have in. So all I'm asking here is, looking what they have, we all have differences. Like, we all, obviously want to live on this island. I'm trying to do it friendly, I can give you a whole lot more history, 70s and what. I guess it was 45, that's a lot. Thank you.
Laws, why do we need a dictator?
Somebody want to answer that?
I think John did, and said we have, in statute, because it's a civil action, we could say, it's expensive. We don't want to do. And also, we're not looking to create trouble, we're looking for a process to be able to address egregious, extreme situations. The language breaks things open because we don't know what's going to come up, but the process says it can be reported, and the selectman would say, no, there's nothing there. The code enforcement office would say, there's nothing there. But if there's something extreme and that is a public health and safety danger, we need to be able to take action. And that has been a concern. We've heard about the concern about water. As we get denser on this island, the possibility stands that people can be using chemicals, even just gasoline products that leaks into the ground and is going to damage our water table. So we're concerned about having too much stuff out there that could be damage. That is why this came up in the first place.
Instead of just a nuisance.
We've gone down several roads with the DEP in terms of what we can do for protection. There is state law, the ability of the town to exercise that power is going to be extremely limited. We need to rely on having a process for us to be able to make a determination. But still, reading the ordinance, it comes back to some decision points, a public hearing. So there's a process there to make sure that, this isn't directed at somebody unnecessarily. So the process is there as a public hearing, people can come and make their opinions felt about whether it's a really nuisance or not. But it gives the tool to recognize we have an extreme situation.
And how? And then you. When they ask you to either the situations these two gentlemen have mentioned very clearly, very specifically, and with a great deal of understandable passion. Do either of those situations trouble you in your definition as extreme and a hazard to public health?
Yes.
Would you?
Not insurance case, Don, I gave you that on the property, not sending anybody else, or anybody else. Well, Florence took the hospital.
And I'm supporting your objective, actually, what you're trying to do with the old house, that was the house. It's great.
But if you have a property and you have 17 or 18, mowers over there, and we say close to the property line, close to the field as well, we need to be able to do something about it. If it's close to an aquifer, and we are worried about, gas or oil or whatever leaching, we will react to that's part of the deal. So, yes, if it's a health safety issue, that's this word key, health and safety. Before I know I don't live in environment, or 19 feet out, that's fine. But if it becomes a health and safety issue for anybody, we need to be able to address it, and that's a lot of this is, John, Mr. Reagan, that is, it's awful.
You have you have all this deal with force. You take care of all of the global matters in the future.
No, I think that they not. The Dan mentioned no.
So we just all do three or. Pray for before come back on the street with the light way, that I started up pretty crazy statement.
Well, it's called out.
Make your neighborhood look better, so the top floor, something like that, that's seeing where this is all about, don't you? Why everybody's down the summer. One guy wants to. Fighting on one of the guys there.
You had something?
I just wanna say, I've been here a long time, say, you knew this was gonna be a tough one, okay? And the bottom line is, if you don't like it, just vote no, okay? If you don't, just say no. If you want clarification or understanding, it just seems like everybody's criticizing it, and I get that, you don't like it. So then vote no, but discussing it, you can't amend anything, and we can't do anything, it's spending more time discussing something that we had for that nobody showed us for. So if you don't want it, just vote out.
One comment, Johnson. You're right there. You gotta hand that. Right, huh? You read, you know what the last, my whole life work.
Water. That. Corporate bargaining or what is not. Given that is not a reason for any revenue purchase. It's sort of. So. Can we change it to develop these neighborhoods?
Change it there. You can amend it, future meetings. You can approve. It. Denial. Will be your choice.
Yeah.
Okay. One can talk. About.
One of the things I asked both Donna and Jeff, and neither one have ever given me is. What can I have in my yard? For 2.5 years I dealt with you, Jeff. You never even got back to me on several different points of that. Donna, I asked you the same question, and I've just asked you more. You know, you won't give me an answer. You told me, quote, hide them in the sheds, get them so they can't be seen. What difference does it matter if they're in a shed or if they're seen? Because they don't leak. I don't have gas in the ones that are not running, and everybody in this town who has a home heating system. Has more of an opportunity to lose 250 to 300 gallons of oil in one spill. Or you could go to Davis's place, he's got all kinds of equipment, that one truck has one oil leak. It's more than everything I have in my town.
Your point is taken. I think everybody agreed about. Your point of order. You go. To the emotional contact, which is what cleaning this meeting is, and that's why we're speaking. It clearly is not just about the technical language of the order, it's about feeling. And that's what you do, tell me, you know, doing. And I'm like, well, we're doing it now. Do you want a meeting? You should get to voting, which I hope is coming. You like to pay your bill?
I would.
Okay,
I so make it.
and you have a second. All right. Is there necessary further discussion?
Yes. Just quick question, is this an adjourn?
Well,
It's on.
majority vote passes the order. 150%. That's the definition of it. Wow.
I make a motion we vote.
You're moving to close debate.
No, I'm tired.
Seconded. Favor,
Yeah.
John Con, John Ball. So I hope you have some.
Plenty.
Yeah. Procedure is a yeah. If you get it, then. Finally, 37, 35. What you want to know? And I will tell you, if I had fair call. Ordinance has fair. Still here. Danger. Give the clerk from the board of selectmen the chemical formula. Section 13B6 is the building code ordinance as shown below be enacted. Here will section 13B6 said. We're going to add is the first paragraph. Good. See before you under. It is recommended by the select board that you do this. So this is the first ordinance that we are. Stop sale we are looking at only by the limited language that you see here. And I'll tell you once again, from this and subsequent ones, you can hold this down and you will still own the original land. If you will prove it, that language only change because it's shown. Is that clear? No. Second, it is moved inside of the as do you wish to discover? Okay. Those voting in favor of the changes. The article 49 and all. And we'll have article shall amend entitled rules and regulations for the Sport Island mooring area ordinance was revised June 22nd, 2024. The copy of the ordinance posted together with this warrant hereby incorporated in print. So this showing go. To remove several obligated provisions as determined by the Harvey. And the unnecessary requirement for Army Corps of Engineers approval to establish the public mooring area. Therefore. Select board. And to the past. Give me a moment.
Second.
Total sign. The next change. Discussion. Well, voting in favor of change. Thank you. Voting again. Article okay, that's that. There is one. From an ordinance titled June 22nd, 2024 amendments to section QFW and X of the landed adjacent property use ordinance as shown below be enacted. And they show changes proposed to be made in the sections Q, S, W, and X, which I will not read unless before by me. These amendments remove several outdated passages and determine how to consider. What is the sexist determinant or select men, I familiar with goal to select board and remove specific rental requirements for the area, while leaving open an option for the select board to develop a flexible and appropriate rental permit system to fit current needs. And the select board recommends action. Motion. Moving seconded, and partially referenced. Discussion? Sure. Yeah, no, raise your hand. And next is all I get. Are you all? It is that. Going forward, definitions as adopted June 24th, 2017, be repealed. This following one are to repeal definitions of land use ordinances adopt 317 as standalone says in the legal such a way that they can replace those definitions in the ordinances and be folded in the ordinance.
Chris, can I make a, I want to make a motion for whatever Julie did to consolidate articles.
I'm quite distraught if she doesn't see it. Yes.
Yes. And I can give a quick explanation here. Can you all hear me okay? It's working? I make a motion to combine articles 52 through 61, I believe. And all of these articles are to do the same thing. So Ruth Nelson, who's no longer with us, was a very active and engaged planning board member for many years. And she went through our land use ordinances with a fine tooth comb. One of the last things she did to make sure all the definition line up and make sense with one another. And she had it put on the warrant in 2017, but unfortunately the language that she submitted was not the right language to strike the old definitions and replace them with her nice new ones. So what we've had for the last few years, because no one has wanted to do this annoying set of amendments, is we had a standalone set of Bruce definitions, and then within the ordinances, still have the old definitions, which is not a great thing. So I started poking around, and like, why don't these two things? And I heard from Rich Lawrenson and from Bob Mooney, well, there's this issue, we gotta fix it, like, this MMA, this is how we do it. We have to repeal the standalone definitions, and then we have to readopt the ordinance with those definitions, striking the old definition. So it's a lot of legalese, but essentially that's what these 10 motion articles are gonna do, to just clean that up so that we only have the ordinances with the new definitions. No standalones, and the old ones are struck out.
Can you explain 61?
Do we have? Function.
61.
Did we get it seconded?
That's a pretty
Jason, I had a question on 61.
Yeah, we're supposed to, there's supposed to be an ordinance, June 22nd, 2024, be enacted, where is it?
So because those ordinances are really long, we're not required to attach them to the warrant, and if I had, it would have been an inch thick, but they are on the back table. So all of these, it's actually 5 land use ordinances that she did this with, that's why there's so many articles. So they're on the back table if people want to look at them. And I'll be honest, I did not read through all of these definitions. I did give them to the present planning board chair to make sure he thought they were okay, which she does. But basically she just tweaked various things to make them consistent, and nothing has been changed since Ruth Nelson did that in 2017.
Safety laws. Any more questions or discussion? It is removed, definition gone. Okay. 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, and 61. Voting in favor. Opposed. Thank you. There was all hands. I had to be, came very, very close in that presentation to living in the Johnny Depp, John, it's not 40, 50, 51, 52, but you take me by time, you know, by 51. Sure. That's okay. The same time. So 36 MRS, section 505.1 will vote that the tax was specified. And section 709 be committed for collection on or before September 2nd, 2024. Sets the date of commitment. So it does, right? Yeah. Can I find 63 through 68? 62 through 68? Sure. Is there a second? And three. $68. Yes, please. No. So I think 69, but up there, you can start. Get up, well. Okay, that's fine. It's awfully. And the motion, do I got a superintendent? Yeah, I'm trying to control. Sorry. The discussion, you know, miscellaneous matter. Not a word. In favor. Yeah, we have to go from Bob, okay, if you want to buy them, if you don't want. Can you do it now, discussion, no, in favor, sorry. Oh, we've done that. Let's see if that's like, so, Article 69. Let's see what's on the town board to authorize the select board to spend from surplus to pay their unanticipated expenses and emergencies. They recommend $15,000 to use. Spend for motion. Where are they on? Okay, second.
What is to cover?
What expenses?
Unanticipated expenses.
Right, but is there anything specific? 'Cause I thought we had that.
It's unanticipated, it gives us something, if something comes up.
Currently 15,000.
Yes.
Well, this one is, for instance, this year, we've had Windstream for our phone service at the town office. They changed their rates and our monthly phone bill went from like $150 to $975 a month. So this money can be used to cover that. Contingency is usually only allowed for like a 5% discrepancy between what we ask for. That is definitely an unanticipated, we wouldn't have expected. It's a $400 charge per line for the copper connection to the building. So we're in the process right now, we've switched over, we're going to Spectrum. And we have to pay the fee to have it installed, so that could also be what we use it for. So it is for like an emergency, for an unexpected, something that we didn't plan for, because obviously them, you know, their rate, when I got that first bill, I was like, it blew my mind. And they had only put in a little itty bitty paragraph in the bill to say next month you make the increases. And honestly, I didn't read that because it was with their service terms that they have every single month. So it was really a shock when we opened it. And exactly. Not something that we typically would use, but in one of those events, it's nice to have it, because if not, we'd have to come back to a town meeting to say, hey, you know, this happened, and it happened right before this town meeting. So it's nice. We didn't have to have a meeting to offer the change in phone service.
Yeah.
So with the new system that you have, that's, you don't have carryovers anymore, you don't take unspent funds and transfer them and for one convention. So it seems like eventually is quite a bit of money going into that tax, that surplus again. If I'm understanding this correctly, you're restricted to spending up to this $15,000 for that account. Without having much about it.
No, I believe, actually.
Yes. Well, in the beginning, we do have in the very first article, number 3 from today, we took money from surplus. For the budget, but other than that, we can't use surplus unless we have.
So I guess my question is, because the way we used to do it, we used to raise funds for like for the land, that, that money would be raised and appropriated for specific use. If it wasn't used back, we carried over, and if there were more budgets on specific project, that would be great. That seems to have changed, or that now that those carryovers, it's don't get tossed into the general fund. And then we have to rearrange the funds to whatever we're going to use over again at the next town meeting, so that money, I'm assuming it serves. And then I'm just trying to understand like that surplus balance and it's something that can be available again, whatever. Yes. You know,
The town has to approve it. And that's, so that's why we specify, this year we use, we're seeing $100,000 surplus. Probably more than that is gonna be going into surplus this year. But we specified that at the beginning. That Article 3, one of those line items was $100,000 from appropriate surplus. So, but then everything that doesn't get spent does go back into surplus. It doesn't go away. It's there for us. But again, we want to give the town a chance to say, yes, we still want to do that. And that kind of keeps the town in control.
And that wasn't necessarily our choice. We were told by the town auditors and by the MMA legal team not to be using carry forwards in the articles.
So it was a bad practice.
So with Frank Barrett, was to carry forward, he showed you what we used last year, right?
Which we'll see what we appropriate to comparison that we have in the back of the book.
It's nice to know
So, y'all want to
You know, once that you say the production gas. Is that in the budget, an extension, where did it go?
It's in Article 3,
Article 3.
3 or 4.
Okay, so if you get ready to down there, right?
No, it's Article 3 said pulled in money, but then cut what we had to raise in property tax. So we're using that money to pay for all the other things that you agreed to. But it's not supposed to, it's not SWAT. It's just that means we don't have to raise tax to pay for it.
There's no accounting.
Not the specific 100,000, no. That's why it's Article 3. It's money that we're raising to cut down the property tax.
Why is there no?
That's just the practice that the auditors and MMA,
Yeah.
that rather than in every article saying you're carrying forward this and that. Because when we go to town meeting, we have all of this stuff prepared, sometimes like a month or 2 ahead of time because it has to be posted. We're still using those accounts. So what had happened before is you would say we're gonna carry forward, 10,000. And in the meantime, you had to spend another 2, so then you're $2,000 short next year. So that's why they tell us not to use the carry forward. And just ask for what you need for that.
And again, Vegas, we don't really want to carry things. We don't want to carry all the funds that didn't spend for legal. We went back in surplus, we pulled out what we needed for legal. So each year, this is what we think we need to do.
The money we should get is simply if you have that 100,000. It would the level of the capital. I don't want any. No.
Aggie Asian Town Road. Is there an accounting of the surplus? Which one I think she's asking, I have to say, or to say you had $100,000, then you didn't use something, you put the money in, take the money out, then put the money in, take the money out. Is there an accounting of the fiscal year of when you started with the surplus, the ins and outs and how you ended it?
Technically, it would be in, if you open your annual report, you have all the auditors do, when they do their audit, it tells us how much we spent out of every account. So it might not necessarily give you like, we asked for this and spent this, but that does give you what we actually spent for the year. It does show a surplus one.
It's gonna say that if you look at the audit, you see there's amount that's unallocated surplus. And what we've just done is we've taken 100,000 of that and used it.
Right, so.
So, and that's now, that's been taken out, so that's a one transaction.
Yes.
And but it's been then going into to provide the funding, like our tax, we don't account for every cent that you pay. It's gonna go into the town funds, and then we follow the budget, we proport it to the budget. So that $100,000 we're taking out of that surplus in one transaction is now part of the budget that funds everything else.
So what is the surplus happen? I know we don't want to be all in the radio. So that's. Looking to lower our burden of our taxes.
So we carry an unallocated surplus every year, and we're recommending we cap at least 15% of our budget. And you'll see that amount in the audit.
In page 93, it tells you we ended last year, so July of 2022, with 476,571.97 in surplus. So next year we'd have the same thing once the auditors go through and verify everything. So every year you do get the information as part of the annual report.
Well, price, if you're involved, no. You have already design. Having completed all the business they had legally performed for. I am now forced to entertain an article promote to adjourn. Which I would like to just go away. It's well, in the various pictures made. And I want to hear whatever he has to say. I don't think I'm on radio. Lord.
Yes, so I believe it's tradition for us to swear in our electeds before we adjourn. So I was going to swear in Kim Lynch, if you'll come on.
Hello, my friends. Constitution of the United States and the long commission of the name of the there. Sir. The duty of the common means that what format, going to the right duty and that law of the.
And Barbara Craig, come on up.
Thank you. I, Barbara Craig, do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States And if it stays, so long as I continue a citizen thereof. I, Margaret Brady, swear that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties incumbent on me as Secretary for 12 Board of Directors representatives of Westport Island, according to the Constitution and laws of the state. Thank you.
At the town hall tomorrow, 11 to 1, there'll be a celebration of life for now, tragic was passed away in the year. So the family encourages everyone to come, the public now to now later residents. There will be a WCA next Saturday, June 29th, next door at the Squire Catalog 4 to 6. This is put on by the Wisconsin Community Association. Friday, 1 snacks on the street. The WPFC and the WCA are partnering up for community. Saturday, around the 28th, from June 7th. For a little person and you want to display any of your stuff. You're having some WPA. We got. We're losing crowd. You know, you can call there. They have all the meeting board, they're down in Becker, 2 hours. Getting here, and there's a lot of community unlimited. For interested, getting involved with lots of opportunities. The WPL teams, there is what? I don't even know the way.